little over a year about the same summer vacation. A summer in Italy in June of 1816, when the great British poets Percy Shelley and George Gordon, Lord Byron, spent some weeks together sharing a villa with Shelley's lover Mary, her half-sister Claire, and Byron's doctor, who kept them all supplied with drugs. Although Byron and Shelley now reside in respectable volumes on the poetry shelves, they were in their age the equivalent of rock stars, and the movie follows them as they experiment in romantic decadence. During one of many wine-soaked luncheon conversations, Shelley, played by Eric Stoltz, argues against power and in favor of revolution and anarchy.
We have beheld such scenes of heartbreaking misery and poverty at home and in Ireland that at times my whole being shakes with a hatred so strong it seems to smother my very life. Man's unhappiness is caused by the evils of power and his obedience to it.
Well, that's a noble sentiment, and Byron seems to agree, but the revolutionary aristocrat turns out to have a healthy regard for his title, his position, and his power when Claire, played by Laura Dern, becomes pregnant with his child. He offers her a cruel choice.
A child or my name. You cannot have both.
Could I visit it? Claire, no.
He can stay with us as my own.
That is Philip Anglem as Byron. Haunted Summer comes close on the heels of Gothic, the hysterical and psychedelic movie of April 1987 by the tempestuous British director Ken Russell. This version of similar material was directed by the more thoughtful Ivan Passer, a Czech who has been working in America for the last 20 years. But both films have the same problem. They deal with the childish and perverse behavior of these characters without convincing us of their importance. Byron and Shelley were important, of course, and they still are, to me anyway, and to a lot of other people, but these movies prefer to see them as the first hippie flower children, and a little of that goes a long way.
A little of it does go a long way. You know, as this picture was rolling along, I was fascinated by the Shelley character, particularly as it portrayed by Eric Stoltz, the boy who was in the mask, in the movie Mask. I think he does a wonderful job. And then, unfortunately, Byron comes into play here, and I think turns the movie into more of a decadent show than really about the greatness that we're, just what you said, the greatness of these two people. I almost wish that the movie was about just Shelley, because his character did seem in his speeches, and right up into that point of the speech about revolution, it's quite a beautiful movie. Then it turns into a sexual escapade that is beneath, frankly, their real lives.
The whole thing about this summer, which is, of course, played up both in Gothic and in this movie, is that it was during this summer that Mary Shelley first began to develop the concept of a monster that came out in her novel, Frankenstein. The notion that you could create a Superman, but that the Superman would turn upon you. This is a very modern idea, and so they put it into the movie, but in the meantime, everybody's just dancing around as if it's San Francisco, you know, and The Love and Spoonful should have been on the soundtrack.
Right. Well, that might have improved it. 2 thumbs down for Haunted Summer, another rendering of the decadent times spent together by two great romantic poets.